Madagascar. At the crossroads of ancient baobabs, scarlet plateaus, and rainforests older than memory, Madagascar rises from the Indian Ocean as a sanctuary unlike any other. Cut off for over 80 million years, it became a cradle of evolution, where birds took their own strange, beautiful paths. From mist-draped highlands to thorny deserts, every corner holds life found nowhere else. Ground rollers patrol the forest floor, vangas ignite the canopy in flashes of crimson and cobalt, and the cry of the Madagascar fish eagle drifts across lonely lakes. In this episode from BBTV Official, we venture into Madagascar's wild heart, discovering over 30 remarkable birds, no other. If their songs stir your curiosity, like the video, subscribe, and join us on more journeys into the rarest corners of the planet. Madagascar fish eagle, Halitus vosiferoids. At dawn, when the lakes of Madagascar turn to liquid gold, a shadow slices across the still water. The Madagascar fish eagle, Halitus vosiferoids. Its name, drawn from ancient Greek roots, means sea eagle, a title befitting one of the rarest raptors on Earth. Fewer than 300 breeding pairs remain, making every sighting a brush with a living treasure. This eagle lives nowhere else but Madagascar's western wetlands, remote lagoons, slow rivers, and mangrove-fringed lakes. Here, the air is heavy with salt and mist, and gnarled trees rise like sentinels over waters teeming with life. It is in this isolated realm, far from the noise of cities, that this predator reigns. Measuring around 30 inches long with an impressive 7-foot wingspan, it carries a presence larger than the horizon it commands. Rusty chestnut plumage covers its body, while a stark white head and throat flash against the dark green canopy, a banner of contrast visible from half a mile away. What sets it apart is its voice, a haunting, ringing cry that echoes over the water like a call from an ancient world. This distinctive call is both a declaration of territory and a warning, staking claim to the skies. True to its name, it dives for fish, sweeping low over lakes and snatching tilapia with talons sharp as chisels. Occasionally it takes crabs, ducks, or carrion, an opportunist in leaner times. Pairs bond for life, building bulky stick nests high in mangroves, where they raise a single chick each year. Both parents guard and feed their fragile heir with unwavering vigilance. And when the sun sinks, the fish eagle's silhouette glides across the crimson water, a fading emblem of Madagascar's wild, untamed heart. Crested Kua Kua Cristata. A soft rustle in the branches reveals a flash of pale blue and gray. The Crested Kua Kua Cristata, one of Madagascar's most enchanting endemics. Its name combines Kua, the Malagasy word for this unique group of cuckoos, and Cristata, Latin for crested, a nod to the delicate plume that crowns its head. Found only on the island, this bird ranges from coastal scrub to inland forests, favoring places where sunlight filters through tamarind trees and the air smells of dry earth after rain. Often, it hops along low branches, moving with measured grace as it searches for food. At about 17 inches long, the Crested Kua is striking yet subtle. Its soft gray body contrasts with a powder blue face, ringed by a bare patch of turquoise skin. The small crest rises gently above its crown, and a long tail, tipped with white, trails elegantly behind. Its signature trait is its unhurried elegance. Unlike many cuckoos, it doesn't race through the canopy. Instead, it moves deliberately, pausing to flick its crest or let out a mellow, descending Koowa that drifts through the forest like a sigh. The diet is diverse: fruits, insects, and even the occasional chameleon, all plucked with quiet precision. Each hop, each lean forward, feels intentional, as if the bird is tasting the forest itself. When nesting, it builds a shallow platform of twigs, often in low shrubs. Both parents guard and feed the chicks, a rare tenderness in the cuckoo family. The scene closes on a still branch where the koa sat moments before, a single gray feather left behind, trembling in the breeze, a quiet signature of its gentle passage. Giant Kawa, Kawa gigas. Dry leaves crackle as the giant Kawa gigas moves slowly into sight, the largest of Madagascar's koas and one of the island's most distinctive ground-dwelling birds. Its Latin name, gigas, simply means giant, a fitting title for this imposing member of the cuckoo family. It roams Madagascar's spiny forests and dry woodlands, landscapes of twisted baobabs, tangles of thorn, and soil bleached pale under the relentless sun. Unlike smaller kuas that flit through branches, this bird keeps its feet on the ground, walking steadily through the undergrowth with the quiet assurance of something that has ruled these paths for centuries. Measuring nearly 24 inches from head to tail, the giant Kua is big without being ostentatious. Its feathers blend warm browns, slate gray, and hints of muted blue, a palette that allows it to vanish into its surroundings. Around each eye, however, glows a brilliant turquoise ring, a vivid spark of color on an otherwise subtle canvas. Calm defines its character. Rather than bolt at the first sound, it pauses, tilts its head, and utters a deep, resonant Koowa, a call that drifts across the heat-hazed air like a slow heartbeat. Its diet is as varied as the terrain: fruits and berries from shrubs, beetles and termites from leaf litter, and even snails or small lizards taken with quick, deliberate strikes of the beak. During breeding, pairs gather sticks and dry leaves to craft a broad, open nest hidden deep in shrubs. Both parents share every duty: guarding, feeding, and raising their chicks beneath the harsh sun. A single turquoise feather clings to a thorn, trembling in the wind, a lingering trace of the island's quiet, enduring giant. Pollens Vanga, Xenoprostris polleni. Ivory gleams beneath the canopy as the Pollens Vanga, Xenoprostris polleni, works its way along a branch, its name honoring Francois Pollen, the 19th-century Dutch naturalist who first documented this striking bird. Endemic to the northeast rainforests of Madagascar, it lives in a world of shadow and filtered light, moss-laden trunks, curtains of vines, and the distant hush of rain on leaves. Here, where the forest feels almost primeval, the Vanga moves with deliberate intent, an apparition slipping from tree to tree. At close to 10 inches long, it is striking yet understated. The body is cloaked in black, broken by a clean white throat and belly, but its great pale bill commands all attention. A thick ivory wedge, slightly hooked, built for strength. That bill shapes its life. Unlike nimble insect catchers, Pollens Vanga preys and chisels, using sheer force to peel away bark, snap twigs, and crack into rotting wood. Beneath each layer, it finds beetle grubs, spiders, and hidden larvae, a patient craftsman revealing the forest's hidden pantry. It's usually solitary or in quiet pairs, though it will shadow mixed flocks, a dark, steady presence among more brightly colored birds. During breeding, the pair selects a tree hollow or chisels a shallow cavity, lining it with fibers and moss. Both parents defend the nest and return again and again with food, their devotion lasting through weeks of rain. A sudden flicker of black, the pale bill catching one last shard of light, and it's gone, leaving only the faint crack of bark splitting, proof that this secretive forager is still at work. Sicklebuild Vanga, Falculea palliata. A sweep of white feathers cuts across the treetops as the Sicklebuild Vanga, Falculea palliata, moves in loose, noisy bands. its name drawn from the enormous, scythe-shaped bill that defines both its look and its life. Endemic to Madagascar's dry western forests and thorny scrublands, this vanga thrives where the air smells of dust and tamarind pods rattle in the wind. These are harsh landscapes, but the bird brings them alive with restless motion and constant chatter. At nearly 13 inches long, it is the largest of the vangas. A long-tailed, long-legged figure dressed in clean white plumage, with bold black wings and mask-like markings on its face. But nothing rivals that outsized ivory bill. Long, curved, and sharp like an heirloom blade, perfectly built for prying. This bill turns the vanga into an unrivaled forager. Traveling in tight groups, it wedges into tree bark, cracks open dead branches, and probes every crevice for hidden prey: beetle larvae, spiders, lizards, and even the occasional small chameleon. Their teamwork is legendary, one bird dislodging bark while another snaps up what squirms beneath. Their diet is wide, and so is their range. They sweep across the canopy, drop to the ground to probe the soil, and leap back up, a search party that never stops moving. Breeding pairs weave large, untidy stick nests high in thorny trees, guarded fiercely by both parents as they raise their chicks through the long, dry season. A flash of black and white lifts above the baobabs, that unmistakable curved bill silhouetted against the sky, a final reminder that some birds are as bold as the landscapes they inhabit. Madagascar Pygmy Kingfisher, Corythornis madagascariensis. A sudden flash of orange skims across a shaded stream, gone almost before the eye can follow. That blaze belongs to the Madagascar Pygmy Kingfisher, Corythornis madagascariensis, its name drawn from Greek for helmeted bird, a fitting tribute to a creature so tiny yet commanding. This jewel of the understory lives in Madagascar's lowland forests and tangled woodlands, staying close to shaded gullies and quiet streams. Here, the air is heavy with moisture, sunlight filters through the leaves, and its darting form flickers like a spark beneath the green canopy. At barely 5 inches long, it is among the smallest of all kingfishers, scarcely larger than a hummingbird. Its plumage glows with color, a fiery orange crown and breast, a cobalt blue back and wings, and a fine white throat that catches the light like porcelain. Its greatest gift is speed. From a low perch, it bursts forward with a snap of wings, striking with such precision that beetles, froglets, and even tiny lizards have no chance to escape. Unlike many of its relatives, this kingfisher rarely fishes. Instead, it scours the forest floor, pouncing on spiders and insects, each dive a perfect practiced movement, more like an arrow than a bird. When breeding, pairs carve narrow tunnels into soft banks or abandoned termite mounds, shaping a hidden chamber lined with earth. 2 to 4 eggs are laid, and both parents share the duty of guarding and feeding their fragile brood. An orange feather drifts down and rests on the damp stones beside the stream, a fleeting fragment of fire, a reminder that even the smallest hunter can light the forest with its brilliance. Madagascar blue pigeon, Electroenus madagascariensis. From the emerald shadows of Madagascar's coastal forests bursts a flash of cobalt. The Madagascar blue pigeon, Electroenus madagascariensis. Its name combines Electroenas, meaning rooster pigeon, with the island it calls home, a nod to its striking plumage that seems borrowed from another world. This vivid pigeon lives only on Madagascar, thriving in humid lowland rainforests and remote coastal groves. It flits among towering canopies and mangrove edges, favoring places where figs and palms heavy with fruit hang like ornaments. At about 13 inches long, it wears a suit of slate blue feathers, each one edged with subtle iridescence that shimmers in broken sunlight. A snow-white head contrasts dramatically with a scarlet patch of bare skin around the eyes, and its short tail flashes silver as it darts between branches. What sets it apart is that vivid color. An electric blue so unexpected on a pigeon that it feels almost mythical. In dappled light, the bird seems to glow, a moving jewel weaving through the forest. Its diet is entirely frugivorous. Perched quietly, it plucks ripe berries and figs, swallowing them whole before carrying seeds across the landscape. A quiet gardener of the rainforest, ensuring new trees rise where it travels. Pairs court softly, bowing and cooing from shaded perches. Their nests, flimsy platforms of twigs balanced high in the canopy, hold a single egg, a white, fragile promise guarded with devotion until it hatches. As the sun slips toward the sea, the Madagascar blue pigeon vanishes into green shadows, leaving only the memory of blue wings flickering like a lost piece of sky. Madagascar long-tailed ground roller, Uratolornis chimera. Sunlight spills across Madagascar's spiny deserts, and from the dusty undergrowth emerges the Madagascar long-tailed ground roller, Uratolornis chimera, a bird so rare it feels more myth than flesh. Its species name, chimera, nods to the legendary creature of blended forms, a fitting title for this ground dweller with a tail like a trailing banner. Confined to the island's southwest, it haunts the dry, thorn-scrub forests, where octopus trees twist skyward, and the earth cracks beneath the sun. It stays close to the ground, weaving between roots and thorns with a fluid grace that belies the harshness of its world. Measuring nearly 20 inches, this is the largest of Madagascar's ground rollers, its long tail feathers flowing behind like ribbons in the wind. The plumage is a painter's dream. Turquoise crown, greenish back, and an underbelly shaded in warm cream, punctuated by a black mask and striking facial streaks. Its behavior is a study in patience. The bird stalks slowly, pausing to tilt its head before darting forward to snatch beetles, ants, or grasshoppers from the soil. Though capable of flight, it prefers to run, vanishing between scrub and shadow before predators even notice. Breeding brings a burst of industry. Pairs dig long burrows into sandy banks, lining them with grasses to form hidden nests deep underground. There, in the dim tunnels, they raise their chicks away from the harsh surface heat. A streak of turquoise tail feathers flashes once, then slips out of sight, leaving only a swirl of dust and the quiet impression that the desert itself just exhaled something magical. Madagascar black parrot, Chorocopsis vasa. Dusky wings sweep across the tree line as the Madagascar black parrot, Chorocopsis vasa, moves from branch to branch, a shadow in flight. Its name speaks to its somber plumage, a cloak of smoke-colored feathers that sets it apart from the kaleidoscope of birds sharing its island home. Endemic to Madagascar and a few surrounding islets, it inhabits an astonishing range of habitats: dry deciduous forests, baobab groves, coastal scrub, and even scattered savannas. It thrives where other parrots might struggle, adjusting with ease to landscapes that shift from lush green after rains to stark gray in the dry season. At nearly 20 inches long, this is one of Madagascar's largest parrots. Its plumage is deep charcoal, with a subtle bronze sheen when sunlight strikes the feathers just right. A long tail and pale, heavy bill add an austere elegance, beauty defined not by riotous color but by quiet strength. Its feeding habits are equally commanding. The Madagascar black parrot pries open pods, strips bark for seeds, and cracks tough fruit pits with ease. It plucks insects, raids mangoes, and even chews on young shoots, an opportunistic forager that reshapes its surroundings with every bite. Breeding unveils one of nature's strangest spectacles. As nesting season nears, the female molts feathers from her head, leaving a patch of bare yellow skin, an arresting sight against her dark frame. The male courts her with offerings of food, and together they choose a hollow high in an ancient tree to raise their young, both parents fiercely protective. A shadow arcs across a baobab, wings brushing warm air, and then it's gone, leaving only a whisper of movement. a reminder that even the darkest birds can carry their own quiet brilliance. Madagascar Starling, Onychognathus moreo. Bronze light spills over cliffs and dry forests as the Madagascar Starling, Onychognathus moreo, arcs through the sky, its wings flashing a coppery sheen that turns ordinary sunlight into fire. The name hints at its hammer-strong claws, onycho for nail, gnathos for jaw, a nod to its powerful grip and robust bill. This sleek bird inhabits Madagascar's rocky outcrops, baobab savannas, and dry woodlands, often perching on ledges where few other birds dare to settle. It thrives in the island's harsher corners, moving easily between wind-scoured cliffs and thorny forests, always close to open sky. At nearly 10 inches long, the Madagascar Starling is a study in subtle glamour. Its plumage looks black at a distance, but up close glows with bronze and purple highlights that shift like liquid metal in the sun. The tail is long and tapered, the bill sharp and slightly down-curved, giving the bird a poised, almost regal profile. Its foraging is clever and bold. These starlings scour the ground for insects, probe tree bark for grubs, and swoop down to snatch fallen fruit. They raid fig trees in groups, their chatter sharp and metallic, filling the air as they tear into ripe clusters and scatter seeds that will one day sprout new forest. When breeding, they seek cracks in cliffs or tree cavities, lining their hidden nests with grasses and feathers. Both parents share the work, defending the site and feeding chicks until they fledge. A final shimmer of bronze catches the light as the starling lifts from its perch, vanishing into the sky, leaving only its metallic call ringing through the dry air. Madagascar magpie robin, Copsychus albospecularis. Perched on a low branch, tail flicking with restless energy, the Madagascar magpie robin surveys its woodland realm with curious black eyes. Known scientifically as Copsychus albospecularis, this island songbird, endemic to Madagascar, belongs to a lineage of feathered musicians, yet carries a distinct island rhythm all its own. Its name draws from its pied appearance, jet-black feathers offset by a bold splash of white across the wings, like a painted slash of moonlight across velvet. This sharp contrast isn't just for show. It becomes a signal in the undergrowth, flashing as the bird darts through dappled light, weaving through vines and brambles. Found across a range of habitats from humid eastern forests to dry western thickets, the species has adapted beautifully to varied terrain. Subspecies differ slightly in coloration, but all share the same lithe body, averaging 7.5 inches in length, and a confidence that belies their size. But it's their song that truly captivates. Males pour out melodic phrases at dawn, mimicking other birds and even blending in unexpected sounds from their environment. These tunes serve to defend territory and court females, each trill and warble stitched into an island symphony. Foraging is a ground-level affair, hopping across leaf litter, flipping debris with quick, calculated motions to uncover beetles, worms, and tiny reptiles. Agile and alert, they feed alone or in pairs, staying close to low cover. When nesting, they tuck their woven cups into tree hollows or sheltered crevices. The female incubates while the male stands guard nearby, both deeply invested in the future hidden within those fragile eggs. Some birds dazzle with color, others enchant with song. The Madagascar magpie robin does both, quietly drawing you in, note by note, step by step, until the forest itself begins to sing. Melers Duck, Anas melleri. Among Madagascar's winding rivers and reedy marshes, a solitary silhouette glides across mirrored waters, trailing quiet ripples through morning mist. This is Melers Duck, Anas melleri, an unassuming jewel endemic to the island, cloaked not in vivid color, but in a palette of earthy greens and browns that melt into the wetland landscape. Named after Charles James Meller, a British naturalist who collected the species in the 19th century, this rare dabbling duck lives only in the eastern rainforests and highland wetlands of Madagascar. Unlike many other ducks, it is remarkably silent. Its presence revealed not through calls, but by sudden movement, or the flutter of wings among reeds. Measuring around 22 inches long, Melers Duck bears a striking resemblance to the female mallard, but look closer, and its uniqueness emerges. A deep green gloss shimmers on its wings in the right light, while a bold black bill and slightly darker plumage distinguish it from its distant relatives. Its secret lies in its behavior. This is a duck of solitude. Preferring secluded ponds and shaded waterways, it feeds by skimming the surface and tipping forward to reach aquatic plants, insects, and small crustaceans. Often alone or in pairs, it avoids the bustling flocks that characterize other duck species. Nesting typically begins with the rains. Hidden within dense riverbank vegetation, the female lays her clutch in a shallow bowl of grass and down, incubating the eggs in quiet devotion. Ducklings emerge ready for water, following their mother like soft brown shadows among lilies. In these hushed green corridors, where forest meets water, Melers Duck endures, unflashy, elusive, yet deeply emblematic of Madagascar's vanishing wild. Madagascar Partridge, Margarioperdix madagarensis. Beneath the dry leaf litter of Madagascar's western forests, a subtle shape stirs, earth-toned, rounded, and alive with nervous energy. This is the Madagascar partridge, Margarioperdix madagarensis, a species found nowhere else in the world, whose camouflage is so finely tuned it can vanish with a heartbeat into the dappled light. Native to the island's lowland deciduous forests and scrubby undergrowth, this elusive bird thrives in habitats where dry twigs snap underfoot and sunlight slices through canopies in golden beams. Despite its name, it is more closely related to Asian hill partridges than to its continental cousins in Africa. Evolution, once again, has charted a singular course here. The bird measures about 11 inches in length, its plumage a rich tapestry of chocolate brown and dark rufous, speckled with black. Males display a subtle but elegant contrast between their grizzled breast and the dusky tones of their wings, while females are slightly duller, perfect for brooding in silence. What sets this partridge apart isn't just its appearance, but its secretive nature. It forages at dawn and dusk, scratching through detritus for seeds, insects, and tender shoots. When alarmed, it prefers to dash rather than fly, darting like a whispered rumor through the bush. Breeding occurs in the early rainy season. The nest is a simple scrape, lined with leaves and hidden under dense thickets. Both parents may help in raising the chicks, who grow quickly to meet the dangers of forest life. Somewhere between shadow and silence, the Madagascar partridge continues its quiet ancestral rhythm, an overlooked gem etched into the soil of one of Earth's oldest islands. Madagascar green pigeon, Treron australis. A shimmer of emerald moves across the branches, catching the light for only a heartbeat. The Madagascar green pigeon, Treron australis. Its name carries echoes of old languages. Treron, the Greek word for pigeon, and australis, meaning southern, tying it to the warm skies and fruiting forests of the far south. This pigeon is an island exclusive, thriving in a mosaic of habitats, misty rainforests, coastal groves, and even the edges of dry woodlands. Wherever fruiting trees rise, their branches heavy with figs and berries, the bird appears, as if summoned by sweetness in the air. It stretches to about 12 inches long, its plumage a living palette of greens, moss, lime, and olive, layered so smoothly they seem painted by rain. Males wear a subtle maroon shoulder patch, a secret flare that gleams like a gemstone when the sun glances across their feathers. Its defining magic is camouflage. Still as a leaf, it blends into the canopy, vanishing completely until a breathy coo or sudden flutter reveals its hiding place. Fruit is its lifeblood. With nimble movements, it clings to branches and even swings upside down to pluck figs, swallowing them whole. Seeds pass unharmed, scattered miles away, turning every meal into a quiet act of reforestation. The nest is a fragile sketch of twigs, balancing a single white egg. Both parents tend it with care, trading shifts and whispering calls, their devotion woven into every hour of the day. When twilight drapes the forest, the green pigeon slips back into the leaves, its colors swallowed by dusk, leaving behind the faint memory of green wings fading into green. Madagascar Paradise Flycatcher, Turpzophone mutata. A ribbon of white arcs through the green canopy, so long and fluid it could be mistaken for drifting silk. It belongs to the Madagascar Paradise Flycatcher, Turpzophone mutata, its name drawn from Greek roots meaning voice of delight, a fitting title for a bird as striking as it is graceful. This flycatcher lives across Madagascar's forests, from humid rainforests in the east to dry woodlands in the west, and even on nearby islands like the Comoros. Wherever it flies, shafts of light cut across tangled branches, and its trailing tail streamers turn every glide into a ribbon of movement. Measuring around 7 inches for females and nearly 15 inches for males with their streaming tails, it is an exercise in elegance. Males display an elongated pair of central tail feathers that trail behind like banners. Their plumage shifts from rich rufous to brilliant white, depending on the region. Females, smaller and plainer, wear warm chestnut and soft gray, blending easily into the understory. Its most mesmerizing trait is that tail, impossibly long, swaying like a pendulum as it darts after prey. The sight is so ethereal, locals once called it the spirit of the forest. An aerial hunter, it snatches insects mid-flight, twisting and pivoting with sudden bursts of agility. At times it hovers briefly, then swoops, its call a soft, high note threading through the trees. Nests are delicate cups of moss and spider silk placed in low forks of branches. Inside, 2 or 3 tiny eggs are tended carefully by both parents, who guard their fragile brood with vigilance. The shot lingers on that white streamer tail, looping through sunlit air. A fleeting thread of paradise, vanishing only to reappear again and again in the forest's weave. Madagascar Beeater, Marops Superiliosis. A flash of green and chestnut cuts across a pale blue sky, swift and fluid like a stroke from an artist's brush. This is the Madagascar Beeater, Marops Superiliosis, its name drawn from Greek, meaning honey eater with a bold brow, a reference to the dark line that runs neatly through its striking eyes. Across Madagascar's open woodlands, river valleys, and bright savannas, this bee-eater thrives. It chooses places where sandy banks meet endless sky, where the hum of bees and dragonflies fills the warm air, and every perch offers a perfect view of the hunt. At around 9 inches long, the bird is a study in vibrant color. Emerald wings shimmer in sunlight, a chestnut crown warms its back, and a yellow throat is divided by a precise black band. 2 elegant tail streamers trail behind, drawing delicate lines through the air as it flies. Its greatest talent is aerial hunting. Launching from a perch, it snatches bees, wasps, and dragonflies mid-flight, then returns to its branch to tap the insect, deftly removing stingers before swallowing its catch whole. Every movement is sharp and exact, a sudden hover, a dive, a clean snap of the beak. Each insect taken seems effortless, yet every strike is finely calculated. For nesting, pairs tunnel into sandy banks, sometimes digging 3 feet deep. Inside these dark chambers, 4 to 6 eggs are laid and guarded, life beginning in hidden safety. The final scene lingers on a bee-eater rising into the sunlit sky, tail streamers trailing like threads of light, a fleeting reminder that even the smallest hunter can make the heavens shimmer. Blue Kua Kua Cristata. A shadow moves through the canopy, and suddenly a sheet of deep blue drifts into view. The blue Kua Kua Cristata, a bird whose very name is a blend of Malagasy and Latin, meaning simply blue. Yet nothing about it feels ordinary. This Kua inhabits Madagascar's lush lowland forests and tangled coastal edges, a world of filtered light and damp leaves where its sapphire tones seem almost unreal against the green. Often it walks along branches rather than flying, pausing with measured steps as though exploring each corner of its kingdom. Reaching close to 20 inches, the blue Kua is substantial yet understated. Its feathers are a soft, uniform indigo that swallows light rather than reflecting it, while a bare turquoise ring around the eye glows subtly, like paint left wet on a canvas. A long, tapered tail lends it balance and an air of quiet elegance. Its most remarkable trait is its composure. It rarely rushes, instead gliding from perch to perch, letting out a mellow Koowa that seems to hang in the humid air longer than the bird itself. A varied feeder, it plucks fruit and berries with deliberate care, snaps up insects and snails, and will even take small reptiles when the chance arises. An omnivore moving at its own pace. When breeding, it crafts a loose platform nest of twigs hidden deep in shrubs. Both parents share duties, raising their young slowly, steadily, in the shelter of thick foliage. The closing shot holds on a fallen feather lying against dark moss, a stroke of blue on green, proof that for a moment, a piece of sky passed through the forest. Helmet Vanga, Euryceros prevosti. Brilliant blue cuts through dim rainforest light as the Helmet Vanga, Euryceros prevosti, moves into view, its name honoring the helmet-shaped bill that defines it and French naturalist Florent Prévost, who first described the bird. This extraordinary Vanga is found only in the humid lowland forests of northeastern Madagascar, where tangled vines drip with moisture, and the air feels heavy after every rainfall. It stays mostly in the mid-canopy, a calm, weighty presence against a backdrop of constant movement from smaller birds and insects. Stretching to almost 12 inches, the Helmet Vanga is a study in bold design. Its plumage is a deep midnight blue across the head, wings, and back, contrasting with a clean white underside. But nothing commands attention like the massive turquoise bill, thick, curved, and oddly elegant, as though sculpted from polished stone. That bill is not just for display. It works like a crowbar, levering apart rotting branches, snapping through tangles of vine, and even hammering bark to expose prey. Each deliberate strike echoes the bird's strength and the unique niche it fills. Its menu is rich: beetles, spiders, caterpillars, and the occasional frog, all taken with slow, deliberate precision. The Vanga pauses between catches, the vivid bill flashing as it manipulates each meal before swallowing. When nesting, pairs gather twigs and moss to craft a deep cup high in the branches. Both parents tend the nest with quiet devotion, guarding eggs and feeding chicks until they fledge. Before it slips back into the tangle of green, that turquoise bill catches one last glimmer of light, a final flash from a bird so rare its presence feels like a secret shared only by the forest. Hook-billed Vanga, Vanga curvirostris. Dark shapes shift through the branches, and suddenly a heavy profile appears. The hook-billed Vanga, Vanga curvirostris, named for the sharply curved beak that sets it apart from every other Vanga in Madagascar. This powerful bird inhabits dry forests and spiny thickets across the island, especially in the west, where sunlight burns white against the soil and gnarled trees twist into impossible shapes. It moves methodically through this harsh landscape, pausing often, its strong frame and massive bill commanding quiet respect. At nearly 11 inches long, the hook-billed Vanga is built like no other. Slate-gray feathers cover its head and back, blending into wings marked with flashes of black and white. Its underparts are pale, almost silver, but the eye is drawn to that enormous ivory bill, deep, hooked, and as formidable as a raptor's talon. That beak is a tool of brute force. The Vanga uses it to wrench open branches, rip apart tough seed pods, and snap through shells of snails and beetles. It hammers and pries with slow, unstoppable power, reshaping the forest's edges in search of food. Its diet is varied: insects, lizards, and small vertebrates, even scavenged scraps when the chance arises. Each catch is handled with deliberate precision, the bird pausing before swallowing as though inspecting its own work. For breeding, pairs build broad, sturdy nests of sticks high in the canopy. Both parents tend their eggs and feed their chicks, a partnership as solid as the tools they wield. Only the silhouette of that arched bill remains as it slips back into the trees, a fleeting glimpse of the forest's craftsman, carving its living from wood and bone. Red-shouldered Vanga, Calicallicus rufocarpalis. Crimson flares against muted gray as the red-shouldered Vanga, Calicallicus rufocarpalis, shifts through scrubby branches, its Latin name translating to red-shouldered, the one feature that ignites its otherwise subtle frame. Endemic to Madagascar's dry southwest, this elusive Vanga favors spiny forests and low, thorny thickets where baobabs rise like sentinels. It stays close to the understory, weaving between cacti and euphorbia, a quiet presence in an unforgiving landscape. Measuring about 6 inches long, it's small but arresting in detail. Males wear slate-gray upper parts, a clean white belly, and that unmistakable scarlet shoulder patch, a flash of color that catches sunlight like a drop of fire. Females replace that crimson with a more muted russet, their plumage blending into the dry, dusty backdrop. Its foraging is deliberate and low to the ground. The red-shouldered Vanga hops through shrubs and creeps along branches, inspecting twigs and leaves for hidden prey. Insects make up much of its diet: beetles, caterpillars, and spiders. But it will pluck berries when the chance appears, feeding with a mix of caution and precision. Pairs are territorial, often foraging side by side with quiet, clipped calls. Unlike flocking species, this Vanga moves in twos, defending small patches of habitat from intruders. Breeding brings careful craftsmanship. The nest is a compact cup of twigs, rootlets, and dry grasses tucked into dense scrub. Both parents take turns incubating eggs and feeding chicks, their teamwork critical in this harsh corner of Madagascar. A scarlet streak vanishes into the thorns, and the brush settles again, leaving only the memory of that red spark glowing briefly in the dry forest air. Madagascar Ibis, Leposomus cristata. Scarlet stirs in the half-light of the forest as the Madagascar Ibis, Leposomus cristata, moves slowly through the undergrowth, its name a nod to the spiked crest that rises like a wild crown from its head. Endemic to the island's eastern rainforests and misty lowlands, it inhabits places where the air hangs heavy with moisture and the earth smells of decay and growth. Here, beneath canopies tangled with vines, it remains elusive, a bird most people will only ever glimpse as a shadow slipping between tree trunks. At nearly 20 inches long, this ibis is unmistakable. Its body is painted in deep chestnut, wings burnished black, and its head a splash of contrast. Bare crimson skin, an ivory bill that curves elegantly downward, and that ragged black crest, like a tribal headdress fashioned from storm clouds. In dappled light, its plumage shifts from rich velvet to dull bronze, never quite the same twice. Its feeding style is deliberate and intimate with the forest floor. The long bill probes mud, leaf litter, and rotting logs, teasing out beetles, earthworms, snails, and grubs. It will spear frogs and even the occasional small reptile. The ibis is patient, but far from gentle. When the rains begin, Pairs build loose stick nests high in the canopy, lining them with leaves and fibers. They lay 1 or 2 eggs, and both parents take turns brooding, climbing back and forth through dripping branches to deliver insects to their growing chick. The forest quiets for a heartbeat as the ibis lifts off, heavy wings brushing past ferns, a lingering reminder that Madagascar still holds wonders that only reveal themselves to those who wait. Madagascar lovebird, Agapornis canis. Green wings spark through branches as the Madagascar lovebird, Agapornis canis, darts between trees, its name born from the devotion of lifelong pairs that rarely part. Endemic to Madagascar, it wanders through western dry forests, mangroves, and scattered farmlands, slipping between baobab trunks and over tamarind groves. Even in the harshest landscapes, its restless chatter and sudden flights bring an unexpected brightness to the silence. At just over 5 inches long, it is the island's smallest parrot, but its colors make it unforgettable. Males wear emerald bodies topped with soft gray hoods, while females shimmer entirely in green, like living leaves. Their dark, intelligent eyes and flicking tails give them an air of mischief, a tiny burst of energy wherever they go. Their feeding is a performance of acrobatics and precision. Lovebirds cling upside down to branches, pecking at seeds and flower buds, or sweep low to strip grains and berries, scattering husks like confetti. They rarely forage in silence. Each pair trades constant calls, a metallic duet that keeps them tethered even as they weave through the canopy. When breeding season arrives, devotion turns into craft. The female gathers bark strips, tucking them into her feathers, flying them back to a secret hollow where she constructs a nest of twigs, leaves, and fibers. Both parents defend their tiny fortress and feed their chicks in tireless shifts, a partnership written in patience. A sudden lift of wings sends a shimmer of green rippling across the treetops. And for a heartbeat, the forest feels lighter, as if it borrowed the lovebird's joy and carried it on the wind. Madagascar Jakana, Octooris albinuca. Long toes spread delicately across a lily pad as the Madagascar Jakana, Octooris albinuca, glides forward, its name nodding to the pale nape that stands out against a warm chestnut body. Endemic to Madagascar, this bird inhabits places where land dissolves into water, still lakes, rice paddies, and sprawling marshes. Among reeds that sway in the breeze and mats of lilies that float like green rafts, the Jakana appears almost weightless, stepping where most birds would sink. Stretching nearly 10 inches long, the Jakana carries an understated beauty. Its plumage mixes chestnut, black, and cream, with a bright golden shield crowning its slender bill. Yet the true marvel is below. Toes so long they spread like outstretched hands, distributing its weight so evenly it can cross lily pads as though walking on air. Those remarkable feet are its tools for survival. It picks delicately at insects, snails, and tiny fish, sometimes tipping leaves to uncover hidden meals. Every step is measured, its balance so precise that the water beneath barely stirs. Breeding season flips expectations. Females take the lead, competing for territories and courting several mates, while males shoulder nearly all parental duties. They incubate the eggs, guard the fragile nests, and guide tiny downy chicks across floating plants, often hiding them under their wings when danger looms. The marsh quiets as the Jakana pauses, silhouetted against a curtain of reeds, droplets clinging to its long toes. Then it moves again, rippling the water's mirror surface. A fleeting reminder that even the gentlest footprints can leave lasting marks on the wild. Madagascar cuckoo roller, Leposomus discolor. Emerald light filters through the canopy as the Madagascar cuckoo roller, Leposomus discolor, sweeps past, its wings catching the sun like polished stone. The name reflects both its strange blend of features, part cuckoo, part roller, and its shifting plumage, a bird built from contradictions. Found only on Madagascar and the Comoros, it inhabits humid rainforests, dry woodlands, and even mangrove edges. Wherever the air smells of wet leaves and the sky hangs heavy with heat, the cuckoo roller claims the highest perches, soaring with effortless grace above the trees. At nearly 20 inches long, it's a striking figure. Males shimmer in a mosaic of green and blue with bronze shoulders, while females wear muted brown streaked with fine lines, a quiet camouflage against the branches. The long tail and deep chest give it a silhouette unlike any other forest bird. Its hunting is pure precision. Perched high, it watches for movement below, then dives with a sudden fluid strike, snapping up chameleons, grasshoppers, and large insects in its heavy bill. Between flights, it hovers briefly, almost hawk-like, before returning to its lookout. The species is equally curious in breeding. During courtship, males perform slow, gliding displays, calling in deep, resonant notes that echo through the forest. Nests are tucked into tree cavities, where the female lays a small clutch, and both parents guard and feed the young. For a moment, the forest stills as the cuckoo roller arcs through an opening, its feathers flashing green, gold, and shadow, a reminder that Madagascar's skies still hold creatures that seem to belong to another age. Madagascar turtle dove, Nessuanas picturata. Soft coos ripple through the dawn haze as the Madagascar turtle dove, Nessuanas picturata, settles on a branch touched by first light, its name drawn from the painted pattern across its plumage that looks brushed on by an unseen hand. Endemic to Madagascar and the nearby Comoros, this dove adapts with ease, moving between dry forests, mangrove edges, and even village orchards. It's equally at home under baobabs, among tamarind trees, or on open ground where seed heads scatter after the wind's touch. Measuring around 12 inches, it is a portrait of subtle elegance. Dusky rose feathers cover its breast, fading into warm gray on its back, while the wings are etched with fine scalloped markings that catch the sun like faint embroidery. A tapering tail lends it grace in flight, and a ring of bare skin around the eye frames a gaze that feels almost fragile. Its feeding is a quiet ritual. The turtle dove walks with careful steps, pecking up seeds, tiny fruits and grains, pausing to drink from shallow puddles or pick grit to help grind its food. In small flocks, they move in a loose drift, their murmurs blending with the wind's hum and the shuffle of dry leaves. Breeding season brings gentle devotion. Pairs gather twigs, lining a frail platform in low branches where 1 or 2 eggs rest. Male and female trade roles seamlessly, one brooding, the other foraging, returning with a low, throaty call as they switch. A soft beat of wings lifts it back toward the canopy, rose-tinted feathers flashing once before vanishing into green, a fleeting whisper of the calm it leaves behind. Madagascar harrier hawk, Pollens radiatus. Gray wings tilt and steady as the Madagascar harrier hawk, Pollens radiatus, glides over the forest, a quiet silhouette cutting across the morning sky. Its name hints at its unusual blend, the buoyant flight of a harrier, merged with the commanding power of a hawk. This raptor is found only on Madagascar, patrolling everything from dripping eastern rainforests to sun-baked baobab groves, even appearing near villages and farmlands. It is equally at home above mangroves, rocky escarpments, and thorny thickets, an aerial nomad following the shape of the land. Stretching close to 25 inches, it carries both elegance and authority. Soft gray feathers cloak its body, broken by sharp black and white barring across the belly. Its pale yellow face and fierce hooked bill frame dark eyes that miss nothing. Broad wings hold it in effortless glide, while its long, double-jointed legs, rare among raptors, dangle like clever tools, ready to reach where claws normally cannot. That gift makes it a thief of hidden worlds. Perching against trunks, it snakes those legs into hollows, raiding weaver nests for chicks, fishing frogs from deep holes, and dragging lizards or even bats from cracks in the bark. Few hunters move with such deliberate precision or leave such unease in their wake. When breeding, loyalty turns its flight into routine. Pairs build bulky stick nests high in trees, layering fresh leaves on the frame. The male hunts tirelessly, delivering prey to his mate as she guards 2 or 3 eggs until tiny voices finally stir the canopy. One last sweep over the treetops, and the harrier hawk slips into the distance, a shadow of quiet mastery, gone almost before the forest realizes it was there. Madagascar ground roller, Attalornis pitoides. Shadows ripple across the damp forest floor as the Madagascar ground roller, Attalornis pitoides, slips between twisted roots and carpets of fallen leaves, its name reflecting both its earthbound nature and the soft, rolling notes of its call. Endemic to the island's eastern rainforests, it thrives in the shadowed understory where ferns uncurl and moss creeps across stones. Here, under heavy canopies that block the sun, the bird rarely ventures above the lowest branches, weaving through tangles of vines in near silence. At about 11 inches long, the ground roller is a startling burst of color in the gloom. Its turquoise wings and tail gleam like enamel. A stark white throat cuts against rich chestnut on its back, and a black facial mask frames dark, alert eyes. Its sturdy, slightly curved bill and strong legs are built for foraging close to the ground. Its hunt is a study in patience. The bird prowls slowly, pausing to cock its head before springing forward with sudden precision to snatch grasshoppers, beetles, or the occasional frog. Sometimes it flicks aside leaves to reveal hidden prey, a streak of movement among the shadows. When it's time to breed, the ground roller becomes an engineer. Pairs dig tunnels into earthen banks or abandoned termite mounds, excavating chambers where they lay 2 to 4 eggs. Inside these dark burrows, both parents take turns brooding, emerging only to hunt and return with food for their chicks. Turquoise feathers vanish behind curtains of vines, and the forest exhales again, as though the ground itself briefly came alive and then folded back into the green silence. Madagascar Kua Kua Cristata. Sunlight slants through the thorny undergrowth as the cockerel's Kua Kua Cristata strides across the forest floor, each step unhurried, its tail swaying behind like a deliberate stroke of a brush. The bird's name honors the 19th century French naturalist Charles Coquerel, whose notes first introduced this enigmatic species to science. Yet the Kua itself feels older than any record, a creature shaped by Madagascar's ancient rhythms. It inhabits the dry western forests and spiny thickets of the island, a realm of baobabs and tangled shrubs. Unlike most birds, it prefers walking to flying, slipping between roots and low branches in steady silence, its gait almost reptilian in its calm precision. At nearly 17 inches long, it is understated but magnetic. Slate-gray feathers cloak its back, softening to pale cream across the belly, while the crown carries a wash of warm chestnut. Most striking of all is the bare ring of cobalt blue skin around each eye, glowing like small sapphires when caught by the sun, a single flash of brilliance in muted plumage. Its foraging is an art of patience. The Kua methodically turns leaves, searching for beetles, ants, centipedes, even small geckos or frogs. Each movement is calculated, a pause, a tilt of the head, then a swift lunge. When breeding begins, its focus shifts. The pair builds a cup-shaped nest low in the branches, woven from twigs and fibers, lined with soft leaves. Both parents brood their clutch, trading shifts and returning with insects to feed their chicks until they can venture out on their own. By evening, it melts into the shadows of thicker brush, the cobalt flash around its eyes dimming with the light, a fleeting signature on the forest, as if the day itself signed its name before closing. Across Madagascar's spiny deserts, orchid-draped rainforests, and red earth highlands, every bird we've met carries a story of survival, of beauty, and of an island unlike any other. Their wings flash with colors shaped by millions of years of isolation. Their calls, from the haunting cry of the fish eagle to the soft chatter of Vangas, echo through forests older than memory. Together, they form a living chorus, a reminder that Madagascar is not just a place on a map, but a world of its own. And that brings us to the end of today's journey. At BBTV Official, we believe that every glimpse of nature brings us closer to protecting it. If this journey through Madagascar's avian wonders stirred your sense of awe, help us keep these stories alive. Subscribe, leave a comment, and tell us which bird captured your imagination the most. Thank you for watching. Until we meet again, may the colors and voices of Madagascar's birds stay with you, wherever you roam.